Hi, it's Stephen here from Sound of a Nation Wave, and this is day 17 of the January daily draws. So as we start the weekend, let's see what message we get. And I'll be taking the first card from the Linestrider Tarot, followed by an Oracle card from the Enchanted Map Oracle. So let's choose our first card and get the reading underway. And we will go there. We have the Wheel of Fortune. Cycles, change. Those are the words I automatically, just a reflex, get whenever this card comes out. Cycles of change, changing cycles, however you want to phrase it. When we finished 2025, we ended the cycle of 2025, and then we've begun the cycle of 2026. That's one example of a cycle. A beginning leads goes round, comes to an end, but then starts a new beginning, and it's ever going. It's like the wheel of the year keeps turning, and we keep moving, and things keep going forward. And the consistent thing and the constant thing about life is change. Things change, things grow, things evolve, things move forward. We grow as individuals. We change, not necessarily fundamentally, although unless we go through a really deep change. But there are things about us, as we age, we get older, our outlook can change, our physical being changes as we age, whether we like it or not. Yes, we could try and live as healthy as possible and trying to be in the best physical shape that we can. I would confess I'm nowhere near that for various reasons. But, even the best person will age. And our life is a cycle. We begin at birth. Our life here in this on this physical plane is a cycle that we start at birth and we go through, and we end our current cycle at death and go on to the next stage if that's what we believe. We believe in an afterlife and different types of an afterlife depending on our belief system. But there's a beginning, there's an end, and throughout that cycle, there's evolving, there's changing. So this is a very involved way of explaining the fact that things are full of change, and there are different aspects to it. And there is no point in resisting it. If there is a change of energy around us and within us, we need to work with that energy that we have. We can't try and work with an energy that's no longer there. We have to work with the energy that was available to us in the instant, in the opportunity that presents itself. And each one can have, as we move forward, can have different types of energy at any given time. And we need to be able to adapt to the moment, to stay in flow with how the wheel is moving. We need to move with it, adapt with it, so that we can keep in sync with the energy as best that we can and move forward. So there may be changes in the air. There may be a change in our outlook, just simply how we see things. It's not necessarily that our circumstances change to any great degree. It's just that our perception of them and the way we view them and how we respond to them can change from how we used to. That can be part of a change. So be open to the key word for our reaction to the change is adaptability. And that's what I believe this card is saying to us, is be adaptable and be sensitive to where you are within the cycle, where the change is happening, and how you need to constructively and adaptively respond to that change. And if we do that, then the Wheel of Fortune, we move with it, or we can stay at the center and let it move around us. But we will be affected in a more positive way if we respond correctly to the change at hand. And to realize that time does not stand still. Yes, we are always in the present moment, but the nature of that moment will change as the wheel turns. And our response, our reaction to it needs to change in line with it so that we can make the best of whatever energy or that moment has at that given moment. But always remember that the wheel is always changing, and it won't be long before the moment has a totally different energy. So that we will have to adapt to and work with. So that's why being adaptable, being sensitive to the energy of the moment and aligning with it in an appropriate way is the key to deal with the ever constant movement of time and the changing of the moments as we go through the cycles of life. And that is the lesson of the Wheel of Fortune today. So, a bit of a deep one there. That's my view of it. That's what message I get. You may get a totally different message from the Wheel of Fortune, and if you do, that is fine. Whatever you get from by listening to this, if what I say doesn't resonate, but you get something different from the card, take that, what you get. The way that the card speaks to you is always the key thing. And if what I say resonates, then fine, take that as best as you can. But if you take a different view, if you get a different message, you take that message, because the universe is speaking to you directly through that card in a way that perhaps I am not speaking to you at that moment. So with any of these daily draws, that's the approach that I would encourage you to take. Take what resonates, what seems to fit with you, fit with your circumstance, and what doesn't, then is not for you, and you take what you can from it. Okay, so let's take an oracle card and see what we get. Coming apart. Now, you might think that, well, I don't want things to come apart. But sometimes with change, we have to separate from the old before we can form into the new. So sometimes the old needs to come apart. We need to come apart. The two faces here. This even could be, we're in January, and it comes from Janus, where represents the god look at two faces pointing in two directions, one to the past, one to the future. And that's why in January we look backwards towards the previous year and look forwards to the coming year. And we have to separate from the previous year what's gone before, so that we can move forward and bring in what is coming in, that cycle, that change. So there may be some things that we separate from, or that we let go. Perceptions, how we see things, the old ways of seeing a situation. The situation, as I said, doesn't necessarily change, but the way we view it and respond to it does. So that's what we're coming apart from, so that we can bring in some newness into the situation in the present moment. And I believe that is the message of the cards today. Okay, so that's today's message. I'll be back tomorrow with day 18. Until then, thank you for listening. Take care, everyone, and I'll see you all again very soon. Okay, bye-bye.